Rain hammers down on the streets of Los Angeles. It's the kind of rain that makes the city look like it's weeping. A young woman sits huddled under a broken bus shelter, her beautiful face streaked with rain and tears. She's only 23 years old, but her eyes show the exhaustion of someone who's lived 1,000 lifetimes in pain. Her name is Arya Sterling. She has honey-brown skin that glows even in the darkness. Her hair is long, silky, beautiful, once carefully maintained, now tangled and wet. She's wearing clothes that were nice once, a designer dress, now torn and stained. Around her on the cold, wet concrete are 3 large trash bags containing everything she owns in the world. She's homeless. She's alone. She's broken in ways that can't be fixed by money or therapy or time. She's also about to meet the man who will change her life forever. But she doesn't know that yet. All she knows right now is that her mother kicked her out of the house this morning. Her mother, who was supposed to love her unconditionally, gave her an ultimatum: stop pursuing music and get a real job, or get out. Arya chose music. Her mother chose to lock her out. So here she is, at rock bottom, at the lowest point anyone can reach. This is the story of a man who has everything, learning what it means to love someone who has nothing. Subscribe now and hit that notification bell. This story will make you believe in second chances. Let's dive right into the story. Arya Sterling has always believed in dreams. She's 23 years old and she's spent her entire life dreaming about one thing: becoming a singer. Not just any singer. A singer whose voice changes people's lives. A singer who means something. A singer who matters. Her voice is beautiful. Everyone has always told her that. Teachers, friends, strangers at talent shows. Her voice is a gift. She has perfect pitch. She can hit notes that shouldn't be humanly possible. She was born to sing. But being born to sing doesn't pay rent. Arya grew up in a wealthy family. Her father is a surgeon. Her mother is a lawyer. They're successful, accomplished, powerful. They built their lives on practicality and discipline. They don't understand dreams. When Arya was 18, she refused to go to college. Her parents were devastated. They gave her 2 years to figure out this music thing. 2 years to make it work. If it didn't, she'd have to go back to school and get a real degree. Arya had faith. She worked in coffee shops and restaurants to pay her part of the rent in the modest apartment she shared with 2 roommates. She went to auditions. She performed at open mics. She did everything right. She was patient. She was persistent. She believed it would happen. But 2 years became 3. 3 became 4. And at 23, Arya still hasn't made it. She's still working service industry jobs. She's still going to auditions. She's still performing at small venues for tiny crowds who barely listen. Her parents' patience broke. This morning they gave her an ultimatum: stop the music fantasy. Enroll in UCLA's business program. They'd already registered her, already paid the deposit. Become someone practical, or stop being their daughter. Arya said no. She'd rather sleep on the streets than stop being a singer. Being a singer isn't what she does, it's who she is. Without it, there's no Arya. There's just a shell pretending to be someone else. So her mother packed her belongings into garbage bags, called her a failure, called her ungrateful, called her a disappointment, and locked her out of the house at 8 a.m. on a Thursday morning. Arya tried to stay positive. She has a voice. She has talent. She'll find somewhere to sleep tonight. Things will work out. But things didn't work out. Her roommates texted her at noon. Their landlord raised their rent. They could only afford the apartment for 1 person now, not 3. Could Arya find somewhere else to live? They were sorry. They felt terrible, but they couldn't help her. By 2 p.m., Arya called the few friends she had. Most didn't answer. The ones who did were vague, uncomfortable, couldn't help. One offered to let her stay, maybe a few days, but her boyfriend wouldn't be okay with it. Another lived with her parents and couldn't risk them finding out. By 6 p.m., Arya was sitting under a bus shelter on Sunset Boulevard. surrounded by 3 garbage bags containing her entire life, and she was breaking down completely. She's not crying prettily. She's not crying in a way that looks good. She's breaking down the way humans actually break down, her whole body shaking, her breathing coming in gasps, her beautiful face contorted with despair, snot running, eyes so swollen from crying she can barely see. This is the lowest point. This is absolute rock bottom. This is the moment where hope dies and desperation becomes your only companion. This is where Arya is when he drives by. Adrien Stone is having the worst week of his life. He's 34 years old and he's a billionaire. He's mixed race. His mother is Dominican, his father is black, and he inherited his magnetic charm from both of them. His curly hair is meticulously maintained, cut low and perfectly shaped, showing off the angles of his handsome face. His dark skin is warm and glowing even in the rain. He's wearing a designer suit that probably costs more than most people's monthly rent. He's been driving for 6 hours straight from San Francisco to Los Angeles because he needed to clear his head. His company, Stone Technologies, just had its largest breach in company history. Millions of customers' data compromised. The media is destroying him. The board is threatening to fire him. The government is threatening to sue him. His entire life is imploding. But the worst part is that Adrien doesn't know how to fix it. Adrien is used to being the smartest person in the room. He's used to problems having solutions. He's used to his intelligence and wealth being able to solve anything. But this is beyond his control. This is real failure staring him in the face, and Adrien Stone doesn't know how to handle real failure. He's been driving because he needed to think. He's been driving because he needed to breathe. He's been driving because he needed to get away from the phones and the emails and the pressure and the judgment. He didn't notice the rain getting worse. He didn't notice the other car swerving into his lane. He didn't notice anything until the sound of impact, the spin of his luxury car, and the sudden understanding that he's about to crash. The car wraps around a telephone pole, glass shatters, metal crumples. Adrien's entire world goes white with impact, then black. He wakes up in a hospital bed 4 hours later with minor injuries, a concussion, some broken ribs, a dislocated shoulder. Lucky, the doctors said, very lucky to be alive. But Adrien doesn't feel lucky. Adrien feels broken. The hospital released him after observation. Doctors said he needs rest. Adrien's personal assistant picked him up and drove him to a hotel in Los Angeles instead of his penthouse. Adrien wanted to be alone. He wanted to sit in a hotel room and think about how his life was imploding. He doesn't want to talk to anyone. He doesn't want to see anyone. He definitely doesn't want to help anyone. But sometimes life has other plans. Adrien drives himself away from the hotel at 7 p.m. He needs to move. He needs to drive. He needs to do something. He takes his car, a backup car. His primary was totaled in the accident, and he drives randomly through Los Angeles. He doesn't have a destination. He doesn't have a plan. He's just driving because standing still feels like dying. Around 7:45 p.m., he's driving down Sunset Boulevard when he sees her. A young woman, beautiful, honey-brown skin, long silky hair, sitting under a bus shelter surrounded by trash bags, crying so hard it looks like her whole body is breaking. Adrien's first instinct is to drive past. This is not his problem. This is none of his business. He has enough problems without adding a homeless woman to his list. But something makes him slow down. Maybe it's because she looks so young. Maybe it's because her face is so beautiful and so broken at the same time. Maybe it's because Adrien has been alone in his pain for so long that seeing someone else's pain makes him feel less alone in his own. Adrien pulls over. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't have a plan. He just knows he can't drive past this girl and pretend he didn't see her. He gets out of the car slowly. His body is sore from the accident. His shoulder aches, his ribs burn with every breath, but he moves toward the shelter anyway. When Arya sees him, her whole body goes rigid. She immediately wipes her face, trying to clean up her appearance, trying to look less pathetic. This is a man in an expensive suit getting out of an expensive car. This man is definitely going to try to help her in some patronizing way, or worse, he's going to try to take advantage of her vulnerability. "Don't," Arya says, her voice is hoarse from crying. "I don't need help, please just leave me alone." Adrien stops walking. He holds up his hands in a peaceful gesture. "I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not here to take advantage of you. I saw you and I couldn't keep driving." Arya looks at him carefully. This man is beautiful in a way that should intimidate her. He's clearly rich, clearly powerful, clearly out of her league in every way. But something in his face is honest. Something in his dark eyes is genuine. "I'm fine," Arya lies. "Just having a moment, I'll be okay." Adrien sits down on the bench beside her. Not close. Far enough away to not invade her space, but close enough to show he's not leaving. "You're not fine," Adrien says gently. "And that's okay. I'm not fine either. I had a car accident this morning. My company is imploding. My entire life is falling apart. And I'm sitting here talking to a beautiful girl under a bus shelter in the rain because at least your problems are different from mine." Arya looks at him, really looks at him, and she sees something in his eyes that mirrors something in her own pain. Real pain, not the performing kind. Real, raw, honest pain. "My mom kicked me out," Arya says quietly, "because I want to be a singer instead of going to business school. I have nowhere to sleep tonight. I have 3 bags with everything I own, and I'm pretty sure I'm about to lose my mind." Adrien nods. He's not judging. He's not offering false comfort. He's just listening. "What's your name?" he asks. "Arya," she says. "I'm Adrien," he says, "and I'm going to make you an offer that might sound crazy, but I'm going to make it anyway because my life is already crazy, so why not make it more crazy?" Arya prepares herself. This is the moment where a kind gesture becomes something transactional. This is where her vulnerability becomes someone else's opportunity. "I have a penthouse in Los Angeles," Adrien says. "I'm going to be here for at least 2 weeks while my company deals with this situation. I could use someone to talk to, someone who's real, someone who isn't trying to fix my problems or judge me or use me. I could use a friend." He pauses. "I'm going to put you up in my penthouse. You'll have your own room, your own space, your own bathroom. No strings attached. You're safe there. You can rest. You can figure out what you want to do next. And in exchange, you let me have someone to talk to who isn't my assistant or my lawyer or someone who works for me." Arya's instinct is to say no. This is too good to be true. This is exactly the kind of situation that ends badly. This is how women get hurt. But Arya is also homeless. She has nowhere to go. She has no one to call. And something in Adrien's face is so broken, so genuinely in pain that she believes him. She believes he's not asking for anything sexual. He's asking for what he said he was asking for, a friend. "Why would you do that?" Arya asks. Adrien looks out at the rain. "Because I needed to see someone at their lowest point today. I needed to remember that other people's problems exist. I needed to remember that I'm not the only person suffering. And maybe because sometimes the best thing we can do for ourselves is help someone else." He looks back at her. "Come on," he says, "let's get you out of this rain." Arya gathers her 3 garbage bags. Adrien helps her. Together they walk to his car. Together they drive toward his penthouse. Neither of them knows that this moment will change both of their lives forever. The elevator opens directly into Adrien's penthouse. It's enormous, modern, minimalist. Everything is sleek and clean and expensive in a way that makes Arya feel even more out of place. This man is clearly a billionaire. This apartment cost more than her parents' house. Adrien shows her around quickly. The penthouse has a master bedroom, 3 guest bedrooms, a massive kitchen, multiple living areas, a private gym, a home theater. It's the kind of space that's meant to impress. But Adrien doesn't seem interested in impressing her. "This is your room," he says, opening a guest bedroom with a view of the Los Angeles skyline. The room is beautiful, a king bed, tasteful furniture, a private bathroom. "This is where you'll sleep. Lock it if you want. There's food in the kitchen. Help yourself to anything. Make yourself comfortable." He stops at the doorway. "I'm going to lie down," he says. "My body is still pretty beaten up from the accident, but we'll talk tomorrow, okay? About what you need, about what you want to do." Arya nods, speechless. Adrien walks toward the master bedroom, then stops. "Arya," he says, turning back, "I know this seems too good to be true. I know you're probably still terrified this is some kind of con, but I promise you're safe here. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to use you. I just needed someone to talk to, and you needed somewhere to sleep. This is just 2 broken people helping each other for a little while." Arya believes him. She still doesn't know why, but she believes him. After Adrien disappears into the master bedroom, Arya sits on the edge of the king bed and cries. But these are different tears. These are tears of exhaustion and relief. These are tears that come from surviving the worst day of her life and finding unexpected kindness. She showers. She finds clean clothes in a drawer. Adrien must have female guests sometimes. She lies down on the expensive bed and falls asleep within minutes. For the first time in months, Arya sleeps peacefully. Arya wakes to sunlight streaming through the windows. For a moment, she thinks yesterday was a dream, but her garbage bags are still in the corner of the room. Her old clothes are still in the bathroom. This is real. She's really in a billionaire's penthouse. She showers again. She finds her nicer clothes in the garbage bags, a beautiful sundress that's still clean. She brushes her long hair. She makes herself look like a person again instead of someone at rock bottom. When she emerges, Adrien is in the kitchen making breakfast. His shoulder is bandaged. He's moving carefully, clearly in pain from his injuries. He's dressed casually, designer sweatpants and a casual shirt that still probably costs more than Arya's entire wardrobe. His curly hair is perfectly maintained even after sleeping. He looks beautiful and broken at the same time. "You're awake," Adrien says with a small smile. "I made eggs. I hope you eat eggs." "I do," Arya says quietly. They eat breakfast together at the kitchen counter. Adrien doesn't ask questions. He doesn't probe. He just lets her exist in his space. It's the most peaceful meal Arya has had in months. After breakfast, Adrien sits on the couch and gestures for her to sit beside him. "I need to talk about what happens next," Adrien says. "I have a few options for you. First, you can stay here as long as you need. No time limit, you're welcome. Second, I can help you find an apartment. I can pay the security deposit and first month's rent. No strings attached. You pay me back whenever you can or you don't. I don't care. Third, if you want, I can help you pursue music seriously. I have connections in the entertainment industry. I can introduce you to people who can help." He pauses. "Or some combination of those things, whatever you need. You don't have to decide today. You don't have to decide this week, but I want you to know what's possible." Arya's eyes fill with tears again, not from sadness this time, from gratitude, from disbelief, from the realization that there are kind people in the world. "Why are you doing this?" she asks. Adrien leans back on the couch, wincing slightly at the pain in his ribs. "Because yesterday I was drowning in my own problems," Adrien says. "I was so focused on my failures that I couldn't see anything else, and then I saw you. And I realized that my problems, as big as they feel, are solvable with time and work. But your problem being homeless, having no support, that's the kind of problem that doesn't solve itself. That requires help, and I have the ability to help, so why wouldn't I?" He looks at her directly. "Also, I need someone to talk to, someone who doesn't know me from the business world. Someone who can see me as just Adrien, not as Adrian Stone, the billionaire CEO. Can you do that? Arya nods. Over the next week, Arya and Adrien develop a routine. Adrien works from home because of his injuries. He's on conference calls, dealing with the fallout from the data breach. It's stressful and complicated, but at night, he turns it all off and talks to Arya. They sit on the balcony overlooking the Los Angeles skyline. Adrien tells her about his childhood, his mother's strength, his father's wisdom, the pressure he put on himself to succeed. Arya tells him about her dreams, the moment she realized she wanted to sing, the teachers who believed in her, the parents who didn't. Adrien listens. He actually listens. He doesn't try to fix her. He doesn't minimize her pain. He just listens and understands. By the end of the week, something has shifted. Arya still doesn't know exactly what it is, but when Adrien walks into a room, her heart beats faster. When he looks at her, she feels seen in a way she's never felt seen before. When he smiles, it makes her want to smile back. And Adrien is watching Arya in a way that goes beyond kindness. He's watching her like she's the most interesting person he's ever met. He's watching her like he can't quite believe she's real. By the end of the first week, they're both pretending they don't feel what they're starting to feel. By the end of the second week, Adrien can't pretend anymore. It's the 14th night. Adrien and Arya are on the balcony like always. The city lights twinkle below them. The air is warm. Everything feels perfect and fragile at the same time. I have to leave tomorrow, Adrien says. Go back to San Francisco, deal with the company. I can't hide here forever. Arya's heart sinks. She's known this moment was coming, but it doesn't make it hurt less. How long will you be gone? She asks. I don't know, Adrien says. A few weeks probably, maybe longer. There's silence between them. All the words they're not saying hang in the air. You should stay here, Adrien finally says. Keep living in the penthouse. Use it as your home base. I'm going to connect you with someone in the music industry. I'm serious about helping you with that. But I need you to promise me something. What? Arya asks. Promise me you won't disappear, Adrien says. Promise me that when I get back, you'll still be here. Because if you're gone, I don't think I can come back to this city. Arya turns to face him. Adrien's dark eyes are intense and vulnerable and honest. I promise, she says. Adrien reaches out and takes her hand. His hand is warm and strong and shaking slightly. I know it's crazy, Adrien says. I know we've only known each other for 2 weeks. I know this is moving too fast, but I need you to know something. You've changed my life. You've made me remember why living matters. You've made me remember that other people are the most important thing, not money, not success, not achievement. He pauses. I'm in love with you, Arya. I'm completely in love with you. And I'm terrified because I have no right to be in love with you. I'm your benefactor. You're living in my house. There's a power imbalance that makes this complicated, but I can't pretend anymore that this is just friendship. Arya's entire body is shaking. I love you too, she whispers. I've loved you for days, but I was scared because you saved me and I didn't want you to think I'm just grateful. I didn't want you to think this is transactional. Adrien leans forward and kisses her. It's the kind of kiss that changes everything. It's tender and passionate and honest. It's the kiss of two people who have found something unexpected and real. When they break apart, Adrien rests his forehead against hers. This is only the beginning, he says. I promise you that I'm going to come back. I'm going to build a life with you. I'm going to support your music career. I'm going to be the person you need. And I'm going to make you remember how to live, Arya responds. How to be happy. How to want things that aren't about achievement. They spend the night on the balcony, talking and kissing and planning their future. By the time the sun rises over Los Angeles, they've made promises that will change both of their lives. Adrien leaves for San Francisco at noon. Arya watches his car disappear down the street. and she holds his promise in her heart like it's the most precious thing in the world. So Adrien left to deal with his company, but Arya stayed in his penthouse. She promised him she would be there when he returns. But what Adrien doesn't know is that someone from Arya's past is about to show up and try to tear them apart. Arya has been living in Adrien's penthouse for 3 weeks without him. The first week, she missed him every moment. The second week, she started to adjust to his absence. By the third week, she's begun to wonder if what happened between them was real or just a fantasy created by two lonely people in a moment of weakness. Adrien has called her every night. Their conversations are long and intimate and real, but phone conversations aren't the same as having him there. Arya is starting to feel the distance like a physical thing. Adrien connected her with a music producer named Marcus Chen, a kind man in his 50s who works with unsigned artists. Marcus has agreed to help Arya record a demo and shop it around to record labels. It's exactly what Arya has been dreaming about. It's everything she wanted. But it's not enough to fill the Adrien-shaped hole in her heart. She started second-guessing everything. What if Adrien comes back and realizes he was in love with the fantasy of her, not the real her? What if he decides she's too much trouble, too dependent, too ordinary once the intensity of that first meeting fades? These are the thoughts running through her head on a Tuesday afternoon when there's a knock on the penthouse door. Arya isn't expecting anyone. Adrien's security should have called ahead if someone was coming. She approaches the door cautiously and looks through the peephole. Standing in the hallway is a woman. She's beautiful in an intimidating way. She's perhaps 40 years old with perfectly styled hair, designer clothes, and an expression of cold superiority. She looks like a woman used to getting her way. Arya opens the door slightly. "Can I help you?" she asks. The woman's expression shifts to surprise, and then to something like disdain. "I'm looking for Adrien Stone," the woman says. Her voice is sharp and cultured. "I'm his ex-fiancée, Victoria, and I need to know why there's a child answering his door." Arya's blood goes cold. Adrien's ex-fiancée. Adrien never mentioned an ex-fiancée. Arya lets Victoria into the penthouse despite every instinct telling her not to. Victoria strides in like she owns the place, looking around at the furniture with a critical eye. "So this is what Adrien's been doing in Los Angeles," Victoria says. "Collecting strays, how touching." "I'm not a stray," Arya says, surprised at how steady her voice sounds. I'm Arya." Victoria turns to look at her fully for the first time. Her gaze is assessing and cruel. "You're a child," Victoria says flatly. "You can't be more than 25. Adrien is 34. He's looking for a partner, not a plaything." "How long were you and Adrien engaged?" Arya asks, trying to sound casual even though her heart is racing. 2 years, Victoria says, sitting on Adrien's white couch like she owns it. "We were going to get married last year. Everything was planned. And then Adrien decided he was having a crisis about his life. He said he needed space. He said he wasn't sure if marriage was what he wanted, and he called off the engagement." She looks at Arya with eyes that are cold and calculating. "I came here to win him back," Victoria says. "I was prepared to give him space, to let him work through whatever existential crisis he's having. But I wasn't expecting to find a pretty young thing in his penthouse. So tell me, Arya, how long have you been sleeping with him?" "It's not like that," Arya says, though her voice wavers slightly. "Of course it is," Victoria says dismissively. "It's always like that. Adrien gets bored with women. He collects them like art pieces. He dresses them up, pays for them, gets tired of them, and moves on. I've watched him do it for years before we got engaged." She stands up and walks closer to Arya. "He's going to get tired of you," Victoria says coldly. "In a few months, maybe a year if you're lucky, he'll lose interest, and then you'll be nothing again. You'll be back on the streets or worse, and I'll be the one he chooses because I understand him. I'm his equal. You're just a beautiful mistake." Arya feels tears burning in her eyes, but she refuses to let them fall. Adrien loves me, she says, but even she can hear the doubt in her voice. Victoria laughs. It's a cruel, cutting sound. Adrien loves the idea of saving people, Victoria says. He loves thinking he's a good person, but it never lasts. Real love requires work and commitment and sacrifice. Adrien isn't capable of that. He's capable of grand gestures and passionate moments, but not sustained love. She walks toward the door. I'm going to wait for him to get tired of you, Victoria says, because he will, and when he does, he'll come back to me. We'll laugh about this little phase he went through, and you'll be forgotten. After Victoria leaves, Arya sits on the couch in stunned silence. What if Victoria is right? That night when Adrien calls, Arya doesn't answer. She lets it go to voicemail. Adrien calls again, and again. Finally, Arya answers on the 5th call. Hi, she says quietly. What's wrong? Adrien asks immediately. He knows her too well. He can hear something off in her voice. Someone came by today, Arya says. Your ex-fiancée, Victoria. There's silence on the other end of the phone. What did she say? Adrien asks carefully. That you're going to get tired of me, Arya says. That you love the idea of saving people, but you're not capable of sustained love. That I'm just a beautiful mistake. Adrien's voice becomes hard and sharp. Arya, listen to me. Victoria is toxic. She's angry that I ended our engagement. She's trying to manipulate you because she's manipulative. Don't let her get into your head. Is it true, though, Arya asks, that you're not capable of sustained love, that you just like the idea of rescuing people? No, Adrien says emphatically. Arya, I love you. Real, solid, committed love. I'm coming back to Los Angeles this weekend. I'm going to take a leave of absence from Stone Technologies. I'm going to focus on us. I'm going to prove to you that this is real. How can you prove it? Arya asks. Adrien pauses. I'm going to ask you to marry me, Adrien says. This weekend when I get back, I'm going to ask you to spend your life with me. Arya's breath catches. Adrien, she starts. I know it's fast, Adrien continues. I know we've only known each other for 3 weeks, but I've never been more sure of anything in my life. I love you, Arya, not because you're beautiful, though you are. Not because I saved you, though I did. I love you because you make me want to be better. You make me remember why being alive matters. What about Victoria? Arya asks quietly. What if she's right and you eventually get bored with me? I won't get bored, Adrien says firmly, because I love you, the real you, not the idea of you, not some fantasy version. The actual Arya who loves singing and has terrible taste in movies and laughs at jokes that nobody else thinks are funny. That's the woman I love. By the end of the conversation, Adrien has convinced Arya that Victoria is wrong, that their love is real, that this is forever. But doubt has been planted in her heart like a seed, and it's starting to grow. For the next few days, Victoria shows up at the penthouse repeatedly. She comes with gifts for Adrien, wine, books, items that clearly came from their shared past. She talks to Arya constantly, always planting seeds of doubt. Did Adrien mention that I'm the CEO of my father's international company? Victoria asks casually. I'm worth about $2 billion myself. Adrien and I are equals. That's what he needs, not a girl with a dream and no money. Has Adrien shown you his art collection? Victoria asks another time. It's insured for $50 million. That's the level of investment and sophistication Adrien appreciates, not coffee shop singing. Adrien's friends have started asking about you, Victoria says. They think it's strange that he's in love with a homeless girl. They're concerned about his judgment. Each comment is designed to make Arya feel small and inadequate. Each comment is designed to make her believe that she's not good enough for Adrien. Each comment plants more doubt. By Friday, when Adrien is supposed to arrive back in Los Angeles, Arya is barely holding it together. She's been crying on and off all day. She's questioning whether she should even be here. She's wondering if maybe she should leave before Adrien gets back, before he realizes that Victoria is right and he's made a terrible mistake. She's packed her garbage bags again. She's put them by the guest room door, just in case. Adrien arrives at the penthouse at 6 p.m. on Friday evening. He looks exhausted. The past 3 weeks have clearly been brutal, but when he sees Arya, his entire face lights up. He drops his luggage and walks toward her with a smile that's so genuine and so full of love that it makes her want to cry. He pulls her into his arms and holds her like she's the most precious thing in the world. "I missed you," he says into her hair. "Every single day, every moment, I couldn't wait to come back." Arya holds him tight, breathing in the familiar scent of his cologne, and she feels like she can breathe again. "I missed you too," she whispers. Adrien pulls back and looks at her carefully. "You've been crying," he says, noticing her swollen eyes. "What happened?" Arya debates whether to tell him about Victoria, but before she can answer, Adrien's phone buzzes. It's a text. He checks it and his expression goes dark. It's from Victoria. It says, "I told her you'd get bored. When you do call me, I'll be waiting." Adrien's jaw clenches. "She came here," Adrien says. "It's not a question." Arya nods. Adrien walks to the couch and sits down, running his hands through his curly hair in frustration. "I should have told you about Victoria," Adrien says. "I should have warned you that she was going to try to manipulate you. I'm sorry, Arya. I'm so sorry." "She said you're not capable of sustained love," Arya says quietly. "She said you just like the idea of saving people. She said you're going to get tired of me." Adrien pulls Arya down onto the couch next to him. "I need to tell you something about Victoria," Adrien says. "And I need you to listen without interrupting because this is important." Arya nods. "Victoria and I dated for 4 years," Adrien says. 3 of those years were good. The 4th year I realized that I didn't actually love her. I loved the idea of her. She was successful, accomplished, beautiful, from a good family. She was the kind of woman I thought I should be with." He pauses. "But I wasn't in love with her. I was performing love. I was going through the motions. And when I realized that, I ended it. I proposed to her because that's what I thought came next, not because I actually wanted to marry her. That was wrong. That was a mistake." Adrien takes her hand. "But then I met you," he says. "And suddenly I understood the difference between performing love and actually being in love. I understood what it means to see someone and want to be a better person because of them. I understood what real love feels like." He reaches into his jacket pocket and pulls out a small box. Arya's breath catches. "I was going to wait until tomorrow," Adrien says. "I was going to do something romantic, but I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to let doubt poison this." He opens the box. Inside is a ring. It's beautiful, a simple diamond on a white gold band. It's elegant and perfect and understated. "Arya Sterling," Adrien says, his dark eyes filled with emotion. "Will you marry me? Not because I'm a billionaire, not because I saved you, not because we're running from something, but because you make my life better every single day, because I love you, because I want to spend the rest of my life with you." Arya is crying. She's nodding. She's saying yes over and over again. Adrien slides the ring onto her finger and kisses her with all the love and passion and commitment that Victoria said he was incapable of. This isn't a fantasy. This is real. This is forever. But Victoria isn't done yet. The next morning, there's a scandal. Pictures show up online. Pictures of Adrien at a restaurant with Victoria. Pictures from months ago before he met Arya. But Victoria has posted them with a caption, "Getting back together after some time apart. We were always meant to be." By noon, gossip websites are running stories. Billionaire Adrien Stone's secret reconciliation with ex-fiancée. Adrien's phone starts ringing constantly. His business partners want to know what's happening. His publicist is freaking out. His board members are expressing concern about his judgment. But what's worse is what Victoria does next. She leaks information to the media about Arya. She tells them that Adrien met Arya homeless on the street. She tells them that Adrien paid for everything. She implies that Arya is a gold digger who seduced a vulnerable billionaire. By 2 p.m., Arya's name is trending on social media. Strangers are commenting on her appearance, her background, her worth. She's only with him for money. She's a con artist. She doesn't deserve him. He's having a breakdown. Arya sits in the penthouse, scrolling through the comments, and she feels her world crumbling again. She thought she was past the point of homelessness and desperation. But watching the internet destroy her reputation, watching people she's never met judge her entire existence, feels just as violent as being thrown out of her home. Adrien is on conference calls. His company is dealing with the fallout. Clients are threatening to pull contracts. Investors are demanding answers. Adrien's decision to take a leave of absence is being questioned. By the time Adrien gets off the last call at 6 p.m., he looks like he's aged a decade. Arya is packed. Her garbage bags are by the door. "I'm leaving," she says quietly. Adrien looks at her in shock. "No," he says. "No, we're not doing this. Victoria did this. This isn't real." "It is real," Arya says. "It's real that being with me is going to cost you your company. It's real that you have investors worried about your judgment. It's real that being with me means you lose professional credibility." She's crying. "I can't be the reason you lose everything," Arya says. "I won't be. You deserved better than this." Adrien walks toward her, his face showing absolute determination. "You listen to me," he says. "I don't care about my company. I don't care about investors or clients or professional credibility. I care about you. And I'm not letting you walk out that door. I'm not letting Victoria win." He takes her hand. "I love you, Arya. Real, messy, complicated, difficult love. The kind that requires work. The kind that means choosing you even when it's hard. That's what real love is. And I choose you. I will always choose you." On Sunday morning, Adrien finally confronts Victoria. He calls her and demands that she meet him at his penthouse. Victoria arrives an hour later, looking confident and unconcerned by his anger. "You leaked those pictures," Adrien says coldly. "You created the scandal. You're trying to destroy my company and my relationship." "I was trying to save you," Victoria says calmly, "from a terrible mistake. But clearly you don't want to be saved, so I've moved on to Plan B." "Plan B?" Adrien asks dangerously. Victoria sits on his couch like she owns it. She pulls out her phone and shows him a video. "I have footage of you and Arya together in intimate moments," Victoria says. "I have recordings of Arya saying she doesn't love you, that she's just with you for the money. I have documentation of financial transactions that could be interpreted as payment for sexual services." Adrien's face goes pale. "You recorded her without consent," Adrien says. "You're committing crimes right now just by threatening me with these videos." "Of course I am," Victoria agrees. "But here's the thing. If you marry Arya, if you make her a public statement of commitment, I release everything. Your company falls apart. Arya's reputation is destroyed forever. You both lose everything." She stands up. "But if you call off the engagement, if you convince Arya that you've made a mistake, if you come back to me, then I delete everything. The scandals stop. Your company recovers. Arya gets a settlement and a new life far away from you. Everyone wins." Adrien is shaking with rage. "I will never come back to you," Adrien says. "I will never choose you. I will choose Arya 1,000 times over, consequences be damned." Victoria shrugs. "Then Arya will be destroyed," Victoria says simply, "and it will be your fault." She walks toward the door, then pauses. "You have 24 hours to decide," Victoria says. "Let me know what you choose." Adrien stands in the penthouse for a long time after Victoria leaves, trying to figure out what to do. He could go to the police, but Victoria has lawyers who are better than his lawyers. It would take months to get charges to stick. In that time, she could release everything. He could pay her off, but Victoria is already worth billions. Money won't stop her. He could hide it from Arya and hope Victoria doesn't follow through. But that's a lie, and their relationship is built on honesty. He could break up with Arya and save her from the consequences. But the thought of losing her feels like losing his reason for existing. Adrien is trapped between impossible choices. He decides to tell Arya everything. When Adrien tells Arya about Victoria's threats, he expects her to panic. He expects her to want to run. He expects her to make the logical choice and leave to protect herself. Instead, Arya stands up, looks him directly in the eyes and says, "We're fighting." "Arya," Adrien starts. "No," Arya says firmly. "We're not letting her win. We're not backing down. We're going to fight and we're going to win." She paces the living room. "First, we document everything," Arya says. "Every threat she made, every manipulation, every illegal recording. We record our conversation with her. We get her to make threats again." Adrien looks at her in amazement. "You're going to confront her?" he asks. "I'm going to confront her," Arya confirms, "and I'm going to get her to confess to everything." Using Adrien's connections, they set up a meeting with Victoria on Monday afternoon. Adrien tells her he's willing to negotiate. "I need you to explain exactly what you're asking for," Adrien tells Victoria over the phone. "I need to understand all the details before I make a decision." Victoria agrees to meet at a coffee shop. What she doesn't know is that Arya will be there, hidden but watching. What she doesn't know is that Adrien is recording everything. When Victoria arrives, she's confident. She's arrogant. She believes she's won. Adrien sits across from her, and he lets her talk. Victoria admits to everything. She talks about recording Arya without consent. She talks about the doctored videos and false documentation. She talks about her plan to destroy Arya's reputation. She talks about her jealousy and her need for revenge. By the end of the conversation, Adrien has everything he needs. But then something unexpected happens. Arya emerges from her hiding place. Victoria's face goes white. "You recorded all of that," Arya says quietly. "Adrien recorded you confessing to crimes. We're going to give everything to the police, to Adrien's lawyers, and to the media. You're going to be destroyed." Victoria stands up, her face flushed with rage. "You will regret this," Victoria hisses. "Both of you, I will make sure you suffer." But her threats are hollow now. They have proof. They have documentation. They have her confession. Adrien's lawyer takes the recording and the evidence to the police. Within hours, Victoria is arrested. The news that Victoria was arrested for blackmail, illegal recording, and fraud spreads quickly through media circles. Adrien's company's narrative shifts overnight. Instead of Adrien being a billionaire with questionable judgment, he becomes a victim of a toxic ex-partner. His investors, seeing that he handled the situation intelligently and legally, restore confidence in his leadership. Arya's reputation shifts from gold digger to brave woman who stood up to manipulation. The internet's opinion of her changes dramatically. But more importantly, Arya and Adrien have proven something to each other, that they're willing to fight for their relationship, that they're partners, that they can handle adversity together. 1 week after Victoria's arrest, Adrien and Arya officially announce their engagement. The media covers it as a love story, the billionaire and the girl he found on the street, the man who was broken until he met her, the woman who was homeless until she met him, two broken people who became whole together. Arya's demo has been picked up by a record label. She's going to release an EP in 6 months. Marcus Chen is producing it. Adrien is supporting her completely, but she's making it on her own terms. Adrien has returned to Stone Technologies with renewed purpose. Instead of just being a tech CEO, he's now pushing the company to invest in social justice causes. He's creating programs to help homeless youth. He's using his platform to make a difference. He's also changed as a person. He's less driven by achievement and more driven by connection. He laughs more. He smiles more. He remembers why being alive matters. Arya has changed too. She's confident now. She's no longer afraid that Adrien is going to get bored with her. She knows their love is real because they've survived the worst circumstances and still chose each other. They're planning their wedding for next year. It's going to be small and intimate. Arya's parents, who apologized profusely for kicking her out, will be there. Adrien's friends and family will be there. But mostly, it will just be two people promising to love each other through whatever comes next. On the rooftop of Adrien's penthouse, looking out over the Los Angeles skyline, Adrien and Arya stand together. Adrien has his arm around her. She's leaning into him, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of pink and gold. "I was thinking," Adrien says, "about the day I saw you crying under that bus shelter. I was broken that day. My company was falling apart. I thought my life was over. And then you picked me up," Arya says softly. "And then I picked you up," Adrien confirms. "And instead of saving you, you saved me." He pulls her closer. "I don't think I've ever thanked you properly for that," Adrien says, "for reminding me that life isn't about achievement or success or power. It's about connection. It's about love. It's about finding someone who sees you at your lowest and decides you're worth saving." Arya turns to face him. She reaches up and touches his curly hair, still perfectly maintained, still beautifully styled. "You saved me first," she says. "When I was sitting on that street corner thinking my life was over, you stopped. You saw me. You helped me. And in doing that, you saved yourself." Adrien kisses her. It's gentle and warm and full of promise. "I love you," he says. "I love you too," Arya responds. They stand together as the sun sets over Los Angeles, two people who were broken and found healing in each other. Two people who chose love even when it was difficult. Two people who prove that sometimes the person you save ends up saving you back. This is their story. The story of how a billionaire saw a girl at her lowest point and decided that love was more important than anything else. The story of how a young woman with a dream discovered that sometimes the biggest dreams come true not through achievement alone, but through connection. Their love is real. Their love is forever. Their love will change the world. Moral of this story: when you're at your lowest point, when you think there's no hope, when you believe your life is over, sometimes someone shows up who reminds you that you're worth saving. And the beautiful thing is, the act of saving them might just save you too. Real love isn't about perfect circumstances. It's not about meeting the right person at the right time. Real love is about two broken people choosing each other every single day. It's about commitment through difficulty. It's about believing in someone even when they don't believe in themselves. Adrien and Arya's story is proof that love, real, messy, complicated, difficult love, is the most powerful force in the world. More powerful than wealth. More powerful than status. More powerful than fear. If you're struggling right now, if you think you're unworthy of love, if you think your life is over, know this: there are people willing to stop for you. There are people willing to help you. And sometimes the person you least expect to save you becomes the greatest love of your life. Subscribe to this channel for more stories about real people, real love, and real transformation. Thank you for watching. Until next time, remember, you're always worth saving.